Here now is Solutionaries.
Welcome back to Solutionaries. I'm Louis Bolden. Solutionaries is a show where we take a look at the big problems and the people working to fix them. One issue costing people a lot of money is romance schemes. It's where someone pretends to be someone else and then tricks other people into sending them money. We're talking thousands of dollars here. It's a problem investigator Mike Holfeld has been shedding light on for years. And now one couple is working to get money back for people who have lost so much.
And just help them because of what they've lost emotionally, financially, and they're not able to tell anybody. They don't tell their families what happened because of the shame.
Mike starts us off with how one woman says the allure of love and Bitcoin success left her ripped off and heartbroken.
Now that I caught him, he's like, "You're stupid. You Americans are stupid."
She's a victim of what investigators are calling crypto investment coaching.
The way they designed the whole technology, it looks real.
She wants her name kept out of the story, but everything else
$1,000 and then the $1,500.
is on the record.
So your wallet looked like you were making money?
Yeah.
Her bank records tell it all. The scheme cost her $20,000. Her savings.
Where do you think he really is?
I think he's in China.
She says it all started on the Bumble dating site. 6 weeks of long-distance romance with a handsome man she knew as Carol.
We want people to give us attention and love and all that.
Love and all that came in the form of texts and photographs, a relationship that turned to a chance at financial independence.
And he offered me to coach me doing the day trade, using Bitcoins.
He told her to go to the New York blockchain site, a front for what we now know was an absolute fake. The imposter hid behind a bevy of stolen photographs.
This was his picture at the WhatsApp.
In fact, we found these on various dating sites. Same photos, different names.
So we know now it's not Carol. Did he ever give you a last name?
Nope.
If you're wondering why she would fall for texts and photos without seeing Carol live, well, there was this.
This is the video he sent me when he tried to talk to me.
This is the video? But not that voice.
Nope.
I didn't.
This is the only known audio recording of the crypto coach.
You can do whatever you want. I don't want to promote anything you.
She says that voice was the one she heard over a blurred face on this very video. This is how it may have appeared during her FaceTime chat.
But I didn't spell in the check for that.
News 6 has confirmed the man actually runs a fitness program in Germany. The translation makes no mention of cryptocurrency. No connection to this website. In fact, the connection to the site is now gone.
How could this be wrong? This is a website, you know, and so it's almost like a trick to your brain.
Special Agent in Charge Caroline O'Brien Buster of the Orlando Secret Service says fabricated websites offer the perfect visual deception to steal from Americans across the country.
People in their 40s, in their 50s, and their 60s, and the unfortunate part is that there's not enough life left for these people to make up what they've lost.
At this point, we have no idea how many women have fallen victim to this latest scheme, but the FTC tells us last year alone, nearly 70,000 people lost money in romance schemes. How much? $1.3 billion.
It's not just crypto. One family says their finances have been destroyed after a convicted fraudster wooed one of them into handing over their farm and life savings, tricking them into thinking they were investing in a successful music festival. And they're not alone. Another woman telling us she was also tricked. Eric Sandoval has their story.
He took everything. He took everything we had.
Marjorie Howell says she and her sister Joan still haven't recovered from the failed investment they made in James Walker Watson Jr. in 2007.
Financially, it's tough. Yeah.
The Orlando area needed a festival like this.
Watson is the man behind the Orlando Music Festival that was canceled when the feds arrested him and charged him with wire fraud at another music festival. Howell says she invested in yet another one of Watson's failed music festivals in Houston after he wooed her and the two started dating.
I had one for about 6 months.
So you dated him for
until he roped us in completely, and then I realized, or thought I realized, kind of like what was happening, and I felt uneasy, but we were in too deep.
Court documents show Hal took out a loan based on a family farm that had been in her family for years. She and her sister gave that money to Watson. Watson was later convicted of wire fraud for the Texas Music Festival and spent 5 years in prison. Hal and her sister lost the family farm and their retirement money, a total of more than $700,000.
What has the loss of that money done to your life?
It has totally destroyed the family. There's parts of the family that don't even speak anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
It's really torn you guys apart.
It's been tough.
I ended up actually kind of dating him for a while, which I just shudder at the thought.
Nancy Lucas spoke to us from California. She says she invested in Watson's South Fork Music Festival near Dallas, which he is now facing these new fraud charges for.
This was the jacket for the South Fork Music Festival.
She says she held on to what her investment helped pay for.
He ended up ripping me off for almost $300,000, which was my entire inheritance from my father, who worked his whole life to earn that.
Have you heard from the FBI at all?
No.
When he meets his maker, he is not going to have an attorney there to talk for him. He's going to have to stand on his own 2 feet and take what is coming to him.
Now, all of the women in that story worry there are others who may have lost money under the same circumstances they did. If you think that's true for you, you can call the FBI. The Federal Trade Commission is also working to be part of the solution. They have a whole web page dedicated to romance schemes. It features tips, tricks, and common lies crooks tell victims, including this short video.
He says he's from the U.S. but works out of the country. He says he wants to visit but says he can't afford it. He asks you to send him money. Last month it was medical bills for his sick aunt. This month he needs money to fix his car. Next month, who knows? Ron wants your money. Don't send it.
FTC.gov/romance schemes also lets people report these romance scams online and work to get their money back before it's too late. This man, whose face was at the center of a catfishing scheme, is also focused on being a solutionary. As Mike Holfeld explains, he actually started dating the woman who almost fell victim to a fraudster that was using his picture. Now they're starting a new initiative to offer financial assistance for victims.
If there's one thing that being catfished taught me, is that everybody wants to be loved.
We first met Nicole Hayden about a year ago when she shared the story behind her real-life relationship with Alessandro Cinquini, the Italian-born cruise captain who discovered his photos were being used by romance imposters across the globe.
They know exactly what to say in order to make you feel loved.
Last October, Cinquini finally convinced Instagram to acknowledge his site as legitimate and to shut down the fakes.
All the rest is fake, and now I have the proof.
Yet to this day, variations of his profile are still being used on various sites to target and woo unsuspecting women.
I can't believe that I fell for it.
News 6 has been tracking romance victims from the U.S. to India for the last 5 years.
I trusted him. I really trusted him.
Women lured by stolen photographs and broken promises that almost always ended in financial loss.
It felt like the biggest kick in the gut you ever got in your life.
Some of these people have been talking to the catfishers for years, sending hundreds, thousands of dollars.
In fact, new data from the FTC shows romance imposters cost nearly 70,000 consumers $1.3 billion last year alone.
I'm very sad for whatever is happening, and it doesn't seem to stop.
Now Hayden and Cinquini are preparing to launch social media havens on Facebook and Instagram called Digital Love Awareness,
where everybody can talk about their story, they feel safe.
As co-founders of the new sites, Hayden and Cinquini have recruited family to serve on the board, including Hayden's mother and cousin, along with Cinquini's brother.
Raise awareness, but at the same time trying to, compensate the loss.
The sites are also part of a non-profit group that will collect funds to give back 5 to 10% of the money lost to those romance imposters.
And just help them because of what they've lost emotionally, financially, and they're not able to tell anybody. They don't tell their families what happened because of the shame.
Hayden tells News 6 the digital love awareness platforms are already operating on Facebook and Instagram. Now here's how it's going to work. Donations can be made on Facebook. Just go to the Zeffy link.
Once enough donations and inquiries from victims have been collected, they'll post how victims can get some of that lost money.
For more on this program and tips on how to avoid romance scams, go to clickorlando.com. Still to come, it's not just love draining people's accounts. Officials say fraudsters are also targeting victims' cell phones without them even knowing it.
Not having your money is one thing, but not knowing how it happened is a whole nother story.
Your cell phone's vulnerabilities and what you can do to protect your cash is next. Welcome back to Solutionaries. I'm Louis Bolden. Solutionaries is a show where we take a look at the big problems and the people working to fix them. Earlier, we talked about romance schemes. But as we know, fraudsters don't need to make people fall in love with them to bilk them out of thousands of dollars. As investigator Mike Holfeld explains, your cell phone can be a portal into your bank account.
Not having your money is one thing, but not knowing how it happened is a whole nother story.
He's a 50-year-old admissions manager for Full Sail University, a professional DJ, and now a victim of an apparent cell phone hack used to clear out $65,000 from his Regions Bank business account, while the phone was in his hand.
I have to ask you this on the record. Okay. Did you authorize that transfer?
Absolutely not. 100% not. When I called, they flagged the account. I didn't have access to anything.
But someone else did. The call logs show his phone was bypassed. Calls were forwarded to a mystery 801 exchange.
I literally called from my work phone to my personal phone and saw that it went to a random number and nobody answered the call.
He's asked we not use his full name, but he wants his experience on the record because banking on a smartphone locked him out of his account and cost him all that money. He says it could happen to anyone.
They took advantage of my passwords. They accessed my emails.
The hack was so good that fraud investigators with Regions Bank denied his appeals twice, finding, quote, the transactions were authorized using agreed-upon security procedures.
I know somebody hacked my phone. As to how, I don't know.
Your phone is a computer. It has so many different ways to access.
Special Agent in Charge Caroline O'Brien Buster of the Orlando Secret Service tells News 6 your phone's security can be infiltrated on public Wi-Fi signals.
Open Wi-Fis are a no-brainer for the bad guy.
So people are walking around with hotspots with the intent of stealing?
I have seen that, yes.
It could have automatically connected and dropped that onto his phone.
Fred Sanks, a network intrusion forensics analyst with the Secret Service, tells News 6 malware dropped onto the phone via a PDF may have been the weapon of choice in this hack.
By opening it, you now have the code on your device. So they can go in, log in, get his two-factor code, and transfer that money out before he is any the wiser.
I see tears in your eyes. It took a lot out of you, didn't it?
Julius met with News 6, hoping for 11th hour results. We were successful. Regions Wire Fraud Recovery Team issued more than $64,000 back to Julius.
I could not believe it.
Needless to say, he's grateful.
It's refreshing to know that somebody actually cares and is willing to do without asking for anything in return.
Because of legal restrictions, Regions could not discuss the specifics in this case. Obviously, each case is different, but if the paper trail is there, we'll work to get results.
What an incredible story. But a word for the wise, this really could happen to anyone. You just saw Fred Sanks, the network intrusion forensics analyst with the Orlando U.S. Secret Service in that last story. He says crooks are doing all kinds of tricky things to steal your information.
So you can actually pretend to be a Wi-Fi network. There's actually tools out there where you can pretend to be, like, let's say it was Hilton Wi-Fi, let's say. Somebody can make a Hilton Wi-Fi SSID, which is kind of like the name that you see on your phone, and you connect to that thinking that is the Hilton Wi-Fi. Or you have auto connect set up for Hilton Wi-Fi, and because it's the same name, it auto connects to it, but it doesn't actually go out to anywhere. But now they have privileged access to communications between your device. Like, let's say it connected to a Wi-Fi. We talked about Wi-Fi. Yes. Let's say his phone connected to that Wi-Fi for a second, and it was enough for it to drop its payload onto his phone, the bad stuff. He really didn't do anything. All it did was connect to the Wi-Fi, and sometimes you have your phone set to auto connect, like I said, so it could be just in your pocket. It could have automatically connected and dropped that onto his phone. I mean, there's a number of different possibilities. You connect to a Bluetooth device, and you think it's like the right device maybe, right? But it's actually some malicious device. That could be another way to infect a device. So a phone is kind of, it's like a computer, but I would say that it's more accessible than a computer. There are so many ways that you connect with other devices with a phone because you're using it every day. Like you want to connect to a Bluetooth device or your EarPods. You want to connect and share a file with somebody through like AirDrop. That's another thing I've been seeing is like you'd be in a crowded place and all of a sudden you have some random person sending you a file, maybe a picture file, and you're just like, oh, okay, maybe it's one of my friends, and you open it. That's potentially another route for malware to then infect your device.
And so we need to warn people, this thing is here, and how do I defend my phone?
So don't go on any kind of Wi-Fi networks that you're unaware of. Make sure that you look at these emails and try not to open anything or click on anything you're not aware of. Make sure that if you're getting a text message that you don't click on any links and try to not quickly do things on your phone or leave access to your phone open and somebody can actually get access to your phone and change things around. Another thing that could help people potentially in the future is there's a lot of antivirus tools out there now for your phones, getting one of those for your phones as well, because you have to think of your phone as a computer. Just like a computer, a laptop, everybody, can get possible infections and malware. It also is happening with phones, and there are actually people out there, companies out there that are putting out pieces of antivirus that are pretty good.
In addition to your cell phone, you also need to protect your car. Thieves are targeting Kias and Hyundais after a social media trend showed people how to get around a missing security feature. Investigator Mike Holfeld also investigated this situation that left people with no way to get around town and ultimately sparked a lawsuit.
You're watching one of the latest car thefts inspired by a now infamous social media challenge. The scene, Polk County, Florida, September 11th. Two men targeting a 2015 Kia Optima, one of an estimated 10 million Kias and Hyundais in the U.S., considered easy marks because of a missing part, the engine immobilizer.
You just need a USB cable, doesn't have to be connected to anything, and a screwdriver.
Attorney Jonathan Michaels, founder of California-based MLG Attorneys, calling on California Governor Newsom to take legal action against the automakers for failing to install the security devices on their vehicles.
We want an immediate recall of both of these vehicles, the Kias and the Hyundais, and there needs to be compensation to all the vehicle owners who have been damaged by this.
The missing part has created a sort of security crisis. The steering columns have become collateral damage. Michael's firm filed a national class action lawsuit in Southern California federal court, arguing the cost to repair the steering column and damage from the theft can exceed $10,000.
My reaction was crying, scared, didn't know what had happened.
Stephanie McQuarrie of Davenport, Florida, is one of the first plaintiffs to join the lawsuit. That's her car being driven away. She says the transmission was badly damaged, courtesy of a 20-mile joyride.
From Davenport to I-4, exit 68 with the emergency brake on the whole time.
According to the lawsuit, Kia vehicles manufactured from 2011 to 2021 and Hyundai vehicles manufactured from 2015 to 2021 equipped with traditional key ignitions were built without engine immobilizers.
If you knew, would you ever have bought the car?
I would have never purchased the car.
Sylvia Castellanos of Los Angeles has joined the lawsuit. In August, her 2018 Hyundai Elantra was gone in seconds flat.
It's upsetting because a family mechanic let us know that those parts only cost about $200. To save $200 and completely leave that car vulnerable and accessible to theft like that, to me, I just can't fathom it.
Hyundai released what it calls a glass break sensor security kit, available for purchase for about $170. The installation cost to consumers will vary, but it's all on you.
Hyundai is also offering a free anti-theft software upgrade. It is available for some models, but not all of them. To learn more about that new option, go to clickorlando.com. And thank you so much for joining us. I'm Louis Bolden for Solutionaries. You can watch Solutionaries anytime on News 6 Plus, and while you're there, make sure to check out what Solutionaries are doing when it comes to making sure kids are getting a good education.
Kids being tardy to school, if it's excessive, you want to find out why. You're investigating early pickups. If kids are leaving school early, you want to find out why. and of course, when kids are not in school on a regular basis.
And what you can do to get a good night's rest. So many more topics are available for you to explore. To learn more, just download the new 6 Plus app, scroll down to Solutionaries, and start watching.